The term ICO has been hard to avoid online lately. It seems to be in the headlines of just about every crypto article, and for pretty good reason. It stands for Initial Coin Offering, and it's a means of crowdfunding blockchain projects. If you're familiar with the idea behind Kickstarter, where a concept is introduced into the world, people invest money and are given rewards, often the concept, once it's actually turned into a real product, an initial coin offering operates in very much the same way. Except its purpose is to either mint a new cryptocurrency or develop a blockchain-powered solution. In an ICO, a portion of this new cryptocurrency is set aside for investors in the form of tokens, in exchange for money or other cryptocurrencies. The tokens are transformed into units of new cryptocurrency should the funding goal be met. What's the point of this? Well, imagine that you invested in an ICO that ended up growing in a massive way, like Ethereum. Your return on investment would be enormous. The cost of one Ether was about 30 cents per Ether during their pre-sale, where they sold it to investors before the general public. Let's say that you invested $100 in Ether at that time. That would give you 333 Ether, more or less. As of right now, one Ether is worth $1,055, making your initial $100 investment worth $351,000 today. Craziness. So I want to show you really quickly a couple different ICOs online that have been successful and that have been very well funded, but also very well, they've done a good job at being transparent and distributing information about their ICO and the benefits for investors. So check it out. The first one here is liveedu.tv. Okay, they opened up an ICO for a particular coin. And basically, they are an online education platform where they are using smart contracts for payments and rewards for content creators. Now, you can see the whole network here. It's used in schools and libraries and other things like that. And their platform allows for these particular types of people to publish content and be paid for it. But also, students can be paid for their work and for their learning, which is pretty cool. Now, there is no learning platform that teaches college students and professionals who have passed the beginner stage how to build complete projects. I don't really agree with that, but that's what they say. Now, it's a decentralized peer-to-peer project learning network teaching people how to build complete projects. Okay, so they're trying to solve that, but by decentralizing it and incentivizing it for teachers and for learners. So, basically, these are all the features that they have. This is their ecosystem, blah, blah, blah. Those are some of their content creators. Here's their roadmap. But what I want to show you is actually here, the token allocation and distribution. When they launched their ICO, this is what they said. They said, hey, we're going to make 50% of our tokens available to investors. So you could invest in a certain amount, and then the rest of it is going to be set up for content creators, right? So let's say maybe I publish a new course, I would get a portion of tokens as payment, right? Learners also can earn tokens for their contributions as students, supporters, API developers, all this other stuff. They made tokens available for all these different people. And then, of course, they showed transparently where their funds are going, which is cool. And so basically, if I bought a bunch of these initial tokens, then this company grew to be wildly successful, and the tokens, I guess if the funding goal was met, they would be turned into maybe live EDU coins, right? And then those could then be exchanged for other cryptocurrencies or fiat money like US dollars or the euro. Okay, so that's one example. There's, of course, a lot of support and a lot of backing for this company, which is pretty cool. But what's most important is their token allocation and distribution from their ICO. Another one I want to show you is called Dorado, and this one has not yet launched, okay? But they are growing very quickly, 6,227% in 3 years, and they're about to launch a coin that's essentially going to help their delivery service. They have a food delivery service. Now, here is their token allocation and their distribution of funds. And basically, they're allowing 51% to go to token holders, which would be investors, right? 15% is going to go to their team, which is fair. You know, they're gonna keep some of the coins for themselves. Food Out is the company that they fund. Okay. Then, of course, there are other types of people and groups that tokens can be allocated for and earned or bought. And then, of course, they have an ICO timeline. So February 7th is when they're going to launch. And up until February 21st, you can basically get a 33% discount on investing in these ICOs. That's something that's commonly done. Then, after those days are up, it drops to 30%, then 27%. So basically, they're incentivizing people to invest early, which is a pretty cool idea. Now, this period here has a hard cap, which means they're only making 70 million of their currency here, DOR, available. So you can get a big chunk of this available for 33% cheaper than you would anywhere else, which is pretty cool. So they are accepting Ether, Bitcoin, and Litecoin in exchange for their currency. There's also something called a soft cap, which basically, once that is reached, then they stop selling it for a little bit. But that's not really important right now. Basically, I just wanted to show you how popular ICOs have allocated their tokens and have basically set it up so that investors can receive a certain amount, they can buy a certain amount, and then depending on the success of the ICO and the company, you could earn quite a bit of money back on your return. Now, things to keep in mind. This might seem too easy, too good to be true, and 99% of the time, it is. The ICO world is riddled with scams and schemes, and they appear legit, but in reality, once the floodgates open for you to come in and buy your tokens, the only money making is going to be going on with the ICO founders. Obviously illegal, super wrong, but sadly it happens a lot. There have also been issues kind of with a conflict of interest, I guess, with celebrity endorsements for ICOs. There have been a few celebrities that have endorsed particular ICOs, and that's fine when you're dealing with physical products that already exist, but an ICO is basically you're saying, hey, buy these tokens, and if we get enough money, then we can make this a real thing. So it's kind of like speculation, and a celebrity endorsing an ICO, that could easily be run by scammers who just paid a celebrity for an endorsement. It's not the celebrity's fault, but it's almost like a financial advisement. Since John Celebrity said he was excited about this coin, I should buy it too. Okay, that's, maybe what you're thinking if you speak like that, which I hope, maybe you do. Anyway, another issue with ICOs is that there are no guidelines or requirements for what they're required to disclose about their ICO. So what you're seeing could be a cherry-picked list of the best features of the ICO, and they could under-communicate about weaknesses or vulnerabilities in their idea. So that is one thing that is an issue. Not to mention that many ICO founders engage with their investors via Telegram or Slack or Reddit, which can be difficult to know what information is legit and what's coming directly from the founders and what's not, since there's just kind of a flood of just a stream of information at all times. So those are some weaknesses of ICOs and just things to consider if you're thinking of launching your own ICO, which brings me to my next point. Who can offer an ICO? Who's allowed to? Who's able to? Literally anybody. There are tools and documentation in place that can guide you through the entire process of building, setting up, and deploying your very own ICO. However, it's not DevSlope's official suggestion or anything that you go and do this. We can't necessarily offer you any kind of official advice on finances or legal stuff. But what we can say is that if you have a world-changing idea that could be sustained by blockchain technology, do your homework, carefully consider every factor before planning your own ICO, as they can be catastrophically problematic. Okay, like in the instance of DAO mentioned earlier. Hacker came in before they were ready, or I guess they didn't really do their due diligence, and a hacker came in and stole, I think, $3.6 million worth of people's money. Really uncool, because they didn't do their homework and they didn't do their due diligence. So they also can be really, really successful and super helpful in pushing the world towards the blockchain, which is what we want and which is what we think is going to be the future. So it's up to you to weigh your options, to do your homework, and to make awesome choices. But this is an explanation of what an ICO is, and now you can make your own. It's out there for you, but take it with a grain of salt.